We're streaming, people.
World star.
Which?
Here we go. Whew. This is going to be fun. Let's see how much Adams remembers from
high school.
what year are we in?
History.
You don't even know what year we're in.
Like 4 years ago.
15 years ago. That's how old some of you. Oh, y'all aren't even 15. Wow.
I'm 12.
Holy moly.
I'm 15, but I got
Huh? All right, zip it. Here we go. So we are simplifying these expressions. Well, we are using that laws of exponents. Remember that 8th grade day that I taught you laws of exponents? And I taught you other stuff on that 8th grade day. Yes. I don't even. Yeah, very good. Yes. So.
Please be quiet over here behind me.
Thanks, you, Jackson.
no problem.
I have to remember all of that when solving this problem. So I could sit here and expand this out to 16x, y, over 42, x, y.
Why would you do 2?
Do you see why I expanded it out? You can turn around.
It makes it
Turn
easier,
around,
bro.
Dad.
You are.
You're right.
Okay?
Only blondes will say that.
Shh. How can 16 over 42 simplify any?
Yes.
Oh, what could I divide both by?
2.
And I get 8 over
21.
21. Well, variable-wise, who remembers the quotient rule of laws of exponents? Quotient means divide. You subtract them. So I could do old school with the expansion here and say, okay, this x cancels out, this x cancels out. Wait, why did I have 2? That's a y.
Nope.
That's a y. That's a y. Okay. Then y's, this y can't, oh dear. This y cancels. Save the day. That y cancels. So how many, what's left up top?
2 Y's.
2 y's, so y to the power of 2, or what's left on the bottom? An x. I could, expanding it out is retarded, right?
Yes.
I could have said, okay, who's bigger, top or bottom for x's? So 2 minus 1 is 1 on the bottom. For y's, who's bigger, top or bottom?
Top.
So 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay? Not too challenging so far.
No mouth.
Just wait.
Wait. No. What? X, how do you get just 21x? When do you get 21 negative x?
What's telling me negative?
Because it's like 1x is like it's x to the first and x to the second.
No, because it stays on the bottom. I'm not changing it. This group here, you're getting on my nerves.
So would you put an x?
No. What's 2 minus 1? 1. It's top or bottom's bigger. Bottom, so it stays on the bottom as x to the 1. If I move x to the top, it would be a negative 1. You don't want to. But anytime you change levels, you change signs. Okay? That was simple enough. That allows you only to complete problem 2. So, now we're getting more challenging. Problem 3, however, is a different ballgame. I have a lot going on at the top, a lot going on at the bottom. I need to start factoring out what is in common. So what is in common here at the top? An x. And I'm left with x squared minus 1. Good? Okay. Now,
Your boy's over here dying. No. Wow. Rip. Yeah. I think something got in his mouth.
Put it that way.
the bottom. Who's in common?
X
X. I'm factoring out an x. I'm left with an x
cubed
squared
squared.
plus
X 8 x
8x minus 9. Okay, I'm still not done because this is still not completely factored. I can break these parentheses apart again, right? Can I factor this? I can factor that. That's what we've been learning. So, I have an A and a C. Do I have a B?
No.
What's A times C?
1.
Negative 1. I need a negative 1. But I need its factors to cancel out the B. So what would that be?
1.
Negative 1 and 1. So I could expand this out to x plus 1, x minus 1. I skipped some steps there. Are we good? Legitly? JD? I skipped some steps and I went straight to this. Okay, here, I can expand this out. A times C is negative 9. I need factors. That's going to give me a positive 8. That'd be negative 1 and 8, huh? I mean, negative 1 and 9, huh? So, my terms here,
Wait, no. That's the other way
it'd be negative 1 and a positive 9, right?
Yes. That is correct.
Oh, my-
Yeah.
around.
So my two parentheses here is x plus 9, x minus 1. I can jump to this because do I have an A value on this? Turn around, Jack.
Okay.
I can do double parentheses from this step because I do not have an A value. So I know it's these parentheses. Now I can eliminate what's in common with top and bottom. I see this is in common, so I cross it out. I see these two parentheses are in common, right?
Yeah.
So all I have left is x plus 1 over x plus 9, final answer. That's a simplified expression.
Very genius. Oh, it's almost.
He heard it.
Okay? All right. Now number 5. We see how I got here.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now number 5. I have quadratic, 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 huh?
1.
And they're multiplying fractions. When you multiply fractions, if I had 2/3 times 4/5, you multiply straight across, right?
Yes.
That's how you multiply fractions. Newman. Stop. So I'm multiplying straight across, but I cannot do that yet, and I have to factor all of these retardedness. So, whew, this is fun. I have a magic number on this quadratic as a -6, right? I need two parentheses, but gives me a positive 1. So I'm going to have an x and an x. What's my two terms that give me a positive 1? Positive 3, negative 2. Thank you. We agree a positive 3x and a negative 2x give me a positive 1.
Yes,
I
we do
agree.
agree.
That also gives me a negative 6. Good. Let's factor the bottom. JD, stop with the nose if you are...
You're asking good or not.
Well, you were lying last time.
But this
So
time I'm telling the truth.
tell the truth always.
Alright, so why wouldn't it be x to the 4th power? And like we go on like that. And like
No, you can't no, you can't.
Could we cancel?
You
well
can't.
you do 2 times 4 on that one.
Could we cancel x to the second
No.
power before we even start?
They're all grouped as a quadratic. Because it is. Otherwise, I would have to sit here and multiply all of that.
That'd be so much easier.
No, it wouldn't. Just quit. You would. There wouldn't be able to simplify. All right. So this one. My magic number is negative 2. I need a term to give me a negative 1. So my 2 parentheses, I should have an x and x. I need a negative 1. So what is that? A negative 2 and a positive 1?
Yes.
All right. There's my multiplication sign. Now I'm ready to factor this. My magic number is what?
4.
4, and I need a positive 5. So what are my 2 parentheses? An x plus 1 and an x plus 4, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Bottom here. I need, what's my magic number?
Negative 3.
I need a positive 2, so I have an x plus 3 and an x minus 1.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I have factored everyone. What operation is 2 parentheses sitting next to each other?
Multiplication.
Do we agree a dot is also multiplication?
I agree.
We agree. So I could essentially extend this line to one big fraction, right? Because all of this, it was going to be top times top, bottom times bottom. So I saved myself a step and just extended it all. So all of this is on top, all of this is on bottom. All right, so do I have a matcher with an x plus 3?
You do.
So let's cancel on the top and the bottom, all right? Do I have a matcher with an x minus 2?
Yes.
All right, cancel that out. What about an x plus 1?
Yes.
Okay. What about either of
No.
these?
No.
So my final answer,
No.
x plus 4 over x minus 1. Almost.
I know. I turned it all the way on purpose and then turn it back out. Really? Oh.
You on Zane's level now?
Zane's phone has never gone off in class.
What? What?
Not once.
That's not what I've heard.
Number 7. And Landon said, no, that's not mine, that's Zane's. I know, it was on his desk.
Where is Landon, speaking of that?
Oh, you know.
Sick.
Look, but you were sick. What did you do? You came back to school.
Yes, job, Zane.
Only for Miss Adams. All right, so if I had fractions like 4/6 divided by 1/2,
You flip it.
you had to flip the second one and then you were able to multiply. So, same concept here. I need to flip it, the second one, and multiply. So I have 6x to the 5th over 8x to the 5th multiply 8 x squared over 9x.
Why are you walking so loud?
Wait, why'd you flip the second one?
Because you multiply by the
We
reciprocal.
just said when we multiply fractions, you flip the first one, I mean the second one. Okay, so like before, essentially this sitting next to each other means multiplication, this means multiplication, and this bad boy means multiplication. So I could save myself a step. What is x times 8?
48.
48. 6 times 8.
48x to the 7th power.
Good job.
Where did you get 7 power? Because when you multiply like bases, you add the exponents. Actually, I've seen maybe 2 problems like this on the test. Okay, then I get 72 to x to the 6th power. That is not simplified. I can divide both of those by
2,
4,
8.
8,
Every number was shot
8.
12, 12, 12.
You're 12.
12.
24, huh?
yeah, 24.
24.
Right? 24?
Yes.
I can divide by 24. I get 28 divided by 24 is 2.
2.
72 divided by 24.
3.
Okay, I have double x's. So that means it's not completely simplified. Whose x is bigger, top or bottom?
Top.
How many's left on top?
1.
There's my final answer.
This is fun, Saturday.
It is a game, isn't it?
This is so much fun. I would do this.
I wouldn't. Just joking. Wait.
I already do this on my free time. Me and Zane do it together on our free time.
No, nobody has to.
He really does.
No. It's not really a math thing, it's just kind of a blank
It's a
thing.
mind logic, but whatever. All right. So if you've noticed, I'm doing all the odds. Okay, so moving to number 9.
Do 1 even.
This is so weird.
Ready?
I'm ready.
You're getting on my nerves. Number 9. What operation's going on?
Division.
So that means this second one has to be
Flip flop.
flipped, or essentially, yeah, well, let's flip them. All right, so I'm writing the second, x squared minus 36 over 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Now it's times 8x plus 4 over 4x minus 24. Okay, because division.
This is why I didn't do
Why are you in algebra?
it.
That's 6th grade math, Kyle.
Quit being such a bully. Do you want to know why? Because when you divide fractions, you're really multiplying by the reciprocal. Remember that? Way
And we
back
did the
when?
problem right before.
And the problem I did previously that you apparently weren't paying attention on. So you basically just told on yourself. All right.
Put the lines together.
So I need to factor out, because I got some quadratics and a lot of stuff happening. So I have a quadratic right here. I have an A and a C. A times C is negative 36. I need my middle term to cancel out. So that gives me what 2 parentheses then? A negative 6, positive 6, huh? Negative 6, positive 6. Here, on the bottom, I have another quadratic. A times 1 is 2 times 1, which is 2. Magic number is 3, so
2 times 1.
so oh crap, I'm gonna actually have to do this. I can't do it in my head. So I have a 2 times 1, right? 2x, and then plus an x plus a 1. I can take out a 2x, then I get x minus x plus 1, and then I get a 1, huh? Then an x plus 1. So my two terms are 2x plus 1 and x plus 1. Whew. Then we have here, can I factor anything out of this term? These two terms.
Yes.
I can take out a 4. I get 2x plus 1. Interesting. This bottom one, I can factor out a 4, and I get x minus
6.
6. Now I can say, well, you know, all this is being multiplied together. Let me go ahead and expand-a-roo that thing.
Why would you expand it?
Okay. Do I have an x minus 6 on the bottom to cancel? Yep. Do I have an x plus 6 on the bottom to cancel? No. Do I have a 4 on the bottom to cancel? I sure do. Do I have a 2x plus 1?
Yes, you do, Miss Adams.
I do. And I'm left with x plus 6 over x plus 1. Bada boom, bada bang.
Easy.
Easy money.
I keep it this way. That's a simplified notation.
Yeah, while you're in the bathroom, why don't you just change your shirt?
I just did that all by myself.
Do you usually know?
Took his shirt off?
No, look, so he had 2 shirts on, and he took the one that was underneath the top.
All right, number 11. Little different. What operation's being done? Subtraction. Well, if I have fractions, how is the only way I can subtract fractions? You have to have common denominators. So, do I have common denominators?
Yes, you do, Miss Adams.
So that is lucky. Obviously, we're probably going to get to one that does not, but whatever.
Like the problem below.
So,
Let's see what we have to do.
when I had common denominators, we kept the same one, right? So I'm going to bring this denominator over. Okay. Then I'm subtracting this. Well, yeah. So, but they're not factored out, so I need to rewrite them. What can I factor out of here? An x. And then I can factor out actually, hold on just a sec, because you can do this. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Looking at my top, all of my top. Can you stop talking? Could you keep distracted? What?
First down.
Because you're right here at my ear.
First hour.
First out.
X squared. Remember, when adding and subtracting, you can only do common terms. Do I have an x squared that I can combine with? So I have an x squared left. X's. Do I have common x's? A positive. But remember, this was a minus, right? That means everything in here needs a sign change. So I really have a 7x and a negative x. What does that turn to?
6x.
6x. All right, and then I have, for C values, what do I have? I have a negative 16. That's not a final answer. Now I have to factor top and bottom to see if some terms can get eliminated. So negative 16 times 1 is
16.
negative 16. I need to get a positive 6, so that's going to be what?
4 times negative 2. No.
Negative 8 and positive 2. Negative 8, positive 2. That gives me a negative 16.
It does.
That gives me a positive 6.
I need to
Oh, wait.
make-
It's negative 2.
You're silly.
Ah, silly goose. All right.
You guys are silly.
Catching on. That's silly.
Factoring this, I have negative 32 times 1. I need a positive 4.
8 and negative 4.
Thank you.
Good job, JD.
A positive 8 and a negative 4, you say? Thank you.
But wouldn't it work either way? No way.
Can I cancel out anything? My
Yeah.
x plus 8's cancel. I'm left with this as a final answer.
I like this.
Okay. Number 13. Oh boy, what happened here?
Well,
It's subtracting. Do I have common denominators?
No, but I know how to get one.
How, Jackson?
If you multiply the right side by 10.
Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Just like if I had the fraction 3/4 minus 1/2. When I changed this to a fourth, I had to change the top to a 2, right?
yes.
So if you multiply the bottom times what, 10? You have to multiply the top times 10. So my new problem is 6x minus 2 over 10x minus 20. Subtract. This becomes a 10. 10x minus 20. Now I have common denominators. So now I can simplify this. My denominator is going to be 10x minus 20. This is a positive or a negative 10?
Negative.
This minus goes with it. So I have, what can 6x combine with anybody here? No, so I write 6x. Negative 2 combine with anyone.
Yes.
So that becomes a negative
12.
12. Well, that can be simplified because what can I factor out of the first top?
2.
6. X minus 2. Right? Then the bottom, what can I simplify?
2.
I can simplify a 10. X minus 2. Oh, what happened?
You can
That cancels. Then I'm left with 6 over 10,
3/5.
which is
You can simplify that. 3/5.
as a final answer.
Whoa.
Pretty neat.
Pretty dandy, huh? You should have seen our boxing whiskers yesterday.
Well, something had to happen.
You better not be pushing on buttons.
I blame
Miss Adams saying he's pushing on buttons.
All right, going to 15 as soon as it will change. There it goes. Okie dokie. What is different?
Hey, oh yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
So what is different? different now.
It's a rational equation. There's an equal sign in the middle.
There's an equal sign there in the middle, ain't there, Tom? Oh, heavens.
You're such a good girl.
So,
Good boy, I love you.
so, what happened back in 7th grade should have happened in 7th grade. If I had x over 2 set equal to 5 over
7.
10. How did you solve this?
Cross multiply.
You cross multiply. And you did this times that, that times that. Same thing. I have two fractions set equal to each other.
The answer was
Who's
1.
that snap going to? So I'm cross multiplying here. I have 8 times all of that, so I'm going to write 8 times all of that. Then, oh, I don't need that fraction bar. I undo. Then you set it equal to 6 times all of that. I can simplify this. I get 8x plus 16 equals 12x minus 60. Then all you have to do is just solve like we've always solved. So what do you want to do?
Minus 12x.
Minus 8x.
I would probably stick with this, but you would still get the same answer. So I get 16 equals 4x minus 60. Add 60 to both sides, and I get 76 equals 4x.
It is
Divide by
19.
4, and x equals.
19.
You have solved.
It's Jack. Don't ever expect him to be right. I just threw shade.
Look, first vowel right here, interrupting every time. Well,
Country boy. Don't have to go back.
well. Look at fifth vowel interrupting every time.
That was a smart dog.
That works.
17. Okay, I have two fractions set equal to each other. So what do I do? Cross multiply. 8 times 6, what is that?
18.
48.
Oh.
Then I have 3x times x. I could write that out, or I know it's 3x
X squared.
squared. Now,
Divided by 3.
to solve this,
16 equals x squared.
nope. Nope. You have to, I have a square, means I have a quadratic involved.
All you need is quadratic.
So you have to, quadratic what? You can't. You have to do, the quadratic is involved, which means factors is involved, which means you have to actually solve this from factoring. So I need to set this equal to 0. So I am going to subtract 48 from both sides. I get 0 equals 3x squared minus 48. Is there something I can, now I'm factoring, is there some number I can take out right now?
Plus 40.
Take out 3.
I can take out 3. I get x squared minus 12.
16.
Thank you, 16.
You're welcome.
Now I can factor this. So I have 0 equals 3. I need 1 times 6, negative 16, but I need this to cancel out. So positive and negative 4, so I have an x plus 4, x minus 4. All of this gets set equal to 0, so 3 equals 0. Does that work? Nope.
No.
X plus 4 equal to 0. Does that work?
No.
I get a negative 4. X minus 4 equals 0. I get positive 4. So this one ends up having a quadratic solution, which makes sense since it was a quadratic equation. My 2 points are negative 4 and 4.
That's crazy how we like learn something in a different.
And it just all comes together, Jack. I like the enthusiasm today.
Yeah!
What?
Maybe they'll like.
Equals 3x squared minus 48 because you do think like the negative b squared root of b squared.
Yes.
What do you say?
Would it work?
We just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah,
Would
look
it
at
be
the
quicker or like?
They're about equal. It depends on which one you like dealing with better, really.
I like.
Negative b plus or minus square root.
Wait, we're doing this.
It's fine.
Wait, I think I know it. It's
Negative
negative b square root of
no, plus or minus the square root.
plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 6.
I don't have.
Of course.
Okay, 19. Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All righty
I'm
then.
ready, Mr. Krabs.
So, I have an equation. Do I have two fractions that equal to each other?
No.
IL? I do.
Silly goose.
I do not. I have a subtraction problem, but I want to get two fractions that equal to each other. So I need to subtract this first. Are there like terms in the denominators? But if I multiply this fraction by 4, can I have like terms to subtract these? Yes. So that turns into 8 over 4x minus 3 minus 1 over 4x. Oh,
12.
this is 12, thank you.
Wait.
That's a 12.
And that would be minus 4.
Okay. What?
The top would be 4 instead of 1.
Yeah. No, I'm multiplying my first
Only
fraction.
that first one.
This one, I'm making it look like this.
There was so many.
I think the first hour is so stupid.
I'm not multiplying that, I just needed this fraction. Now I can simplify this and I get the fraction 7 over 4x minus 12, right?
Correct.
Equals 2 over x minus 5. Now I have a fraction times a fraction, so I can cross multiply. 7 times all of that gives me 7x minus 35. 2 times all of that gives me 8x. Is that a plus 2? No, that's a minus 12. Minus 24. Now I can solve it. I don't have any quadratics involved, so I just solve it. I subtract 7x, I get negative 35 equals x minus 24. Add 24, I get x equals negative 11, 11. Negative 11, huh? Negative 35 is bigger. And I'm adding 24, negative 11, and x equals negative 11.
Wait.
All right.
This is pretty goofy.
Yeah. I don't think I'd put. Let's look at 21. Find an expression that represents the area of the rectangle. So how do I find area?
Length times width.
Length times width. So did they give me a length?
You know.
You don't even have a paper. Where's your paper?
I lost my.
Is everybody signed to sign in?
I did.
Okay, they gave me a length. Did they give me a width?
Yes.
So do I have enough information to find the area? So I'm multiplying those two fractions together like I did on on the front side. So I didn't put this on there. So I have x squared minus 8x plus 16 over 4x squared times 2x squared minus 10x over x squared minus 9x plus 20. How do I know all of these are quadratics? All four are quadratics. They have an x squared. That means all of them need to be factored for me to multiply them. So my first factor, I need a positive 16 but a negative 8. What would my two parentheses be? Negative 4, negative 4. Good. Down here at the bottom, that's one term really. Can you factor out anything?
No.
We're going to leave it 4x squared. Okay. Then I have a times. Can I factor anything out of the top?
2x.
Yes.
I can factor out first a 2x. Then I have x, what?
Minus 5.
Minus 5. Thanks. Okay. I factor here. I need a 20 and a negative 9. So I have x and x. What gives me that? 1 and 10, huh? Positive 1, negative 10? No. No. That's not right. Erase. Negative 3. What?
Negative 4, negative 5.
What are,
Negative 4, negative 5.
negative 4, negative 5. Thank you.
No problem.
Right? And positive, negative. All right. Now, essentially, these are all the same. We multiply straight across. So, do I have an x minus 4 to cancel? Yes. Do I have another one?
Yes.
No. Do I have one of these bad boys to cancel?
Yes. There is another one. Yeah, that's why I said yes. But no.
There's not another on the bottom.
There has to be.
You can't play Uno without another person.
Okay. Okay, so I have so far, I have a 2x, x minus 4, x, or 4x squared. This here can simplify. What can 2/4 simplify to?
1/2.
1/2. What about these x's? I have 1 on top, 2 on bottom. Who's going to be left over, bottom or top?
Bottom.
How many on bottom? 1. So, do I need this 1 really?
No.
I'll change that to a parenthesis of an x minus 4. Bam, final answer.
How much does the calculator ask?
2 to 3 problems.
He was doing that. What percentage that is?
You're talking like 52 problems. Every point counts, though, is why I wanted you to at least be able to figure it out, right? You could have some logic. It will be multiple choice question. So, 22. We're finding the volume. How do you find volume of a cube?
Length times width times height.
Length times width times height. So there's a lot of work have to be done there. 23, finding the perimeter. How do you find perimeter? You add up what?
Like length plus width plus width plus width.
Length plus length plus width plus width. That's a lot of adding. You could. That could be intelligent. That would be the quickest way to do it. All right, so I'm going to go through and give you the answers to the even. That way you can check to see if you're doing right or wrong.
Sit down.
So you might want to write the answers.
You can fit that one over there.
Look at yourself.
Yeah, hops.
I don't get it.
That's just gonna try and find
Oh,
stuff.
I thought
You're
she was talking
retarded
about-
for that.
You're retarded.
You have no hops. How do you think you? When it made you think you could hop? Because Landon.
He wanted to box up the counter in science.
Because I boxed him.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's not even hard.
You tried to hurdle a table.
First of all, it's not hard. Second of all.
No, he tried to box up the counter in science.
All the answers are written down.
Yep.
For those problems, yes.
Here are 10 through 14. Write 10 through 14.
Thank you, Miss Adams. Yeah, thank you, Adams.
No problem, Cayenne. For the answer. I feel so loved every day.
I love you guys.
Yeah. You also love that floor.
16 through 20.
Thank you so much.
I love how y'all all, copy the answers so that actually admit that you're even going to even attempt these.
I actually know.
I'm not a liar. Don't say I am.
Barely get my homework done on class.
Oh!
I had baseball last night, alright? It was going
not
to like
say
late,
I did not say that.
and I couldn't get my
I've never
homework
said
done,
that. I've never
alright?
said
Yeah,
that. Never.
you sound exactly.
That's pretty cool.
I've never said that much.
There's days where I have tournaments and I don't get back until 11 o'clock and I still do
How
all.
late does the high school get back and they still get the crap done?
Oh, they don't.
get actually.
Who's James Charles?
Other schools.
Oh my god.
Forgot to give you the answers to 22 is 6 x minus 3 over 23 is 2 x minus 1. We could move on if y'all want, or we could end.
We should move on.
Jack, you don't want to go home?
Yes.
Another.
Yeah. Take him an ace drop for his sneaky.
Oh.